Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Hope Harbor Zoo. Hope you guys are all having the most wonderful of wonderful days. My name is Leaf, and it's so great to welcome you guys back over here as we kind of continue our African section. Yeah, we're going to have a few back-to-back African section episodes as we kind of make our way through Hope Harbor Zoo, because I got a lot of awesome new African species, super awesome ones, specifically ones that I was able to get recently on loan specifically. So these are from our good friend and our most esteemed staff member, Wolf of Anarchy. They were so generous enough to lend me the Barbary sheep, which we're building for today. Their names are Finn, Taliza, Subira, and Amani. Very beautiful names. And did you guys know that you can name your animals in the bot? Because, well, I kind of did, but it took me such a long time to actually, kind of figure out how to, and like, I have over 1,000 animals, 1,000 individual animals, not counting like groups or anything like that, in Hope Harbor Zoo. So I'm gonna be going through all of these and really naming them. So yeah, just add a little bit more lore to Hope Harbor Zoo. Anyways, the Aoudads were some of the first animals that we started off with at Hope Harbor Zoo, well, really Hope Island Zoo. But I traded them away. I forget to who. But I think I traded them for something good. I genuinely forget. I should probably look back in that little time box to figure that out, because I don't know, I love Aoudads. I think they're probably my favorite caprid. They're just really beautiful animals. If you haven't gotten the chance to see one in real life, definitely try to, because they're just really unique caprids, especially given the fact that they're from North Africa. There really aren't too many capridae in Africa, so these guys are very unique in that regard. I'm gonna look that up. Caprids in Africa. But no, they're just really freaking cool. Yeah, I think they're the only caprid in Africa, which is cool. Not counting like domestic sheep and stuff like that. But my whole idea behind this little section is I wanted this habitat to be kind of very much based off of the Markhor habitat, believe it or not, at Stone Zoo, which is just a very big mountain. But this one isn't too big. It's relatively small, and it's perfect enough for our Aoudad over here. So we have this lovely little centerpiece over here that we're kind of terraforming around as a way to kind of frame them. And they also have enough room in back over there, just in case if they do want to kind of stay off show, maybe if they want to hide from the guests and whatnot. I always want to make sure that the animals are comfortable here, make sure that, they don't get stressed too much. But obviously keep in mind that we have a zoo and we should probably have our animals on display for our guests. So you can see we're kind of working with that over here and making sure that they wouldn't be able to escape. So I have this little bit of a dry moat in between here, and you can see I'm sort of starting out like, really developing where I want the cracks and crevices to be. In terms of just the entire habitat, I really wanted it to feel just very nice, very rocky, and also help center it in the greater scheme of things with the few big trees and whatnot. So I'm using a few different modded pieces in here. I'm using that lovely grass over there. I forget the name of it, but it's part of the Frontier Pack, otherwise known as the North American Foliage Pack right now. Just a really awesome piece, just really good cover. And I'm also using the Eastern White Pine, which is the state tree, I believe, of Maine. So I like to use a lot of those throughout the entire zoo. It's just a really awesome piece to use in here. So you can see I'm adding a few more rocks throughout here, just making sure that this habitat feels nice and rocky enough. And I wanted to give it a little bit more color, since we are in the African section. Really wanted it to feel a little bit more drier, a little bit more hotter than the rest of the zoo. So I'm including a whole bunch of desert rocks in here, just as a way to help the habitat feel just a little bit more colorful and kind of match the Aoudads specifically. So I have a little bit of that going on, and I kind of decorate it with these cladding pieces just on a nice, somewhat of a slope, kind of going up to that main platform area up there. It's also kind of loosely based off of a lot of the Aoudad habitats around, like, New England and stuff. only like a few years ago, pretty much every single New England zoo had Aoudads at some point. There used to be some at Capron, there used to be some at Roger Williams, there used to be one at Roger Williams. Now that habitat is, it's gone. It's just straight up gone. But we used to have them up at Stone. I think they still have them at Stone. Do they? I don't even remember. Probably at Franklin Park too. I don't really know. But they used to be all over. But now they're kind of being phased out, unfortunately. They still have them at Southwicks though. So that's still good. But essentially all of their habitats are kind of just one big hill. And this is something I was saying before. I was talking with, the gang. And we were kind of like talking about our favorite animals to build for in Planet Zoo. And I said, I just don't like to build for hoofstock. You guys all know this. You guys know how much I feel about hoofstock. I think their enclosures are relatively boring. So then someone, I forget who, but they were like, oh, so you don't like building for sheep? And I was like, no. Building for sheep and caprids and goats is so different from any other hoofstock. Yeah, their enclosure kind of requirements in the backstage are relatively the same. You could see that we just kind of use the zebra holding over there. But no, their habitats have to be so much more diverse. Their habitats need to be so much more rocky. They need to be a lot of room for them to kind of like scrape their horns against in case if they need to kind of do that, I guess. Do they do that? I don't really know. Let me know in the comments. But just a lot of elevation, a lot of kind of layer changes and stuff like that. Different kind of like biome textures around the areas and stuff is what you need to focus on when you're building for caprids, and I just love that. They're just really awesome animals to build for, and if you guys haven't yet, please go build for the doll sheep. I guarantee you it's a really awesome animal to build for. Okay, as we make our way into the habitat itself, as if we haven't been working on the habitat already, I wanted to include a lot of plants in here. Not really a lot of plants per se, but definitely a lot of grasses. Be it as it may, this is kind of like a reservoir area, so when it does rain, and it does rain a lot in Maine, so a lot of the water would kind of collect down in that little trench area, so you would see a lot of plants kind of growing out of there, and that way you would kind of get a lot more greenery to grow down there. The Aoudads would eat that, because they are they grazers, or are they browsers? Are Aoudad grazers? Yeah, they are grazers, so they would eat kind of like the grasses on the ground. If you're a browser, you eat more like leaves of trees and bushes and stuff like that. But if you're a grazer, you're going to be eating from the ground itself. So grasses, flowers, and stuff like that. So yeah, all those small grasses would kind of grow, and the Aoudads would eat them. Just really awesome way for them to kind of get enrichment by climbing around their habitat and just trying to consume whatever they're hungry for, really. I'm also doing some work around the habitat itself, just trying to figure out what else I need in there. And also decorating just a little bit their backstage area. Not really decorating per se, but making it feel a lot more natural. So I'm adding a few more enrichment pieces back there. I think I add like a few like logs for them to brush up against. I think I add like a scratching post down there too. And I also add some of Leader's feeders. Always love to say that. It just worked out so well. Do you think he named himself Leader because he knew he was going to make some feeders? I don't know, that's my official headcanon. But adding a water trough, which I think they do use. I think they end up using this, which is so funny because it's elevated. Maybe I'll put that on the workshop or something, I'm not really sure. But it's just a really awesome way to kind of give your habitat a little bit more dimension. It's free build, by the way. That is how we were able to elevate it just a little bit. And I also add this water tower to the side of it just because, if they run out of water, it would just kind of fill back up again. Maybe the keeper would need to go in there and kind of activate it a little bit, I guess. But that's kind of like the lore I wanted to add over there. I thought that was super cute. I also love the style of our Africa area using like those conservation slats. I really wasn't into it at first. I thought it was kind of like, maybe we could just use these for the backstage and whatnot. But no, I'm really sold on it now because it's just really nice and very beautiful, really. I forgot my hay technique or straw. Please just correct me in the comments until I learn what the difference between hay and straw is. But adding a little bit of those over there to the feeders just to make it feel like a little bit more lived in and whatnot. Unfortunately, we don't have placeable food in Planet Zoo just yet, even though that would be super awesome. Maybe I'll talk with Nick about that, about adding that to the general zoo pack before it gets released. But I think that would be a super awesome little thing to have right there. Also adding these little sunshades that we made for our alpaca habitat a while ago. So we have these happening right over here. Really happy with these. They just look nice. You know, I can't really deny it. I think I used some of Leader's shade supports over there, I think I used. So those were just a really awesome way to kind of, you know, diversify the area a little bit, give them a little bit of shade back there in case if it is a very hot day, even though they are from, like, you know, sub-Saharan Africa and they live in like very hot mountains and places and stuff like that. I don't really know, but you know what I do know is that these cinematics that are coming up are very good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. You guys are always the best. Always do love to see the support for Hope Harbor and all the other series is on the channel. You guys are the best. If you guys are still playing ZSU, let me know in the comments down below. Always super happy to see the community coming to life. We have an event going on right now in North America, which should be done by the time that this episode kind of goes up. So keep your eyes posted for that. Hopefully we can get a really fun animal or two to build for. But yeah, that's really it, my friends. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Always the best. Make sure to lend your support in the comments down below if you can. But on that note, I will leave you guys be. Enjoy this nice finishing shot, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Take care and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Goodbye now.